Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Fountain, and Margaret and I and our daughter Gwyneth, we're delighted to be here with you today on this very special evening. We, as Nova Scotians, are especially pleased that the world premiere of Anne of Green Gables, the ballet, is taking place in Halifax tonight. Anne is truly an East Coast Canadian story. Now, I know you all think that Anne spent her whole life on Prince Edward Island, but I may remind you that Anne's story begins at an orphanage, what they called an asylum at the time, in Nova Scotia. We were very happy to welcome her back. As you know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and a lot of people to make an event like this happen. And we'll try and thank Bengt and the whole creative artistic team.
I was so harrowed up in my mind last night that I didn't think about my clothes at all, said Anne. I'll fold them nicely tonight. They always made us do that at the asylum. Half the time, though, I'd forget. I'd be in such a hurry to get into bed, nice and quiet, and imagine things. Lucy Maud Montgomery was a photographer. She was a gardener. She did handiwork. As a child, she started writing, and I think there was never a time in her life when she didn't write. She had to write.
Anne of Green Gables is just such a heartwarming, wonderful, iconically Canadian story.
Anne's story is so powerful and compelling because it's change, it's family, it's legacy.
Anne of Green Gables is just relatable. Everybody relates to her. And I think she's about belonging, and she's about friendship and love, and she's feisty. She doesn't take things sitting down. She spoke up for herself. In 1908, when Lucy published Anne of Green Gables, she wasn't recognized. The book was rejected 5 times by publishers. And finally, she decided to give it one more go. And she sent it to Page and Company and Boston Company. There was a secretary at the publishing house who loved Prince Edward Island, who really pushed this through and made sure that the powers that be would read it. And they did, and they accepted it, and then here we are. More than 100 years later, still in print, been translated into more than 40 languages around the world. Adaptation is a very interesting thing, and to know that it's being adapted for a ballet, it's just a natural progression. I really feel that it landed in the right hands.
For any ballet, it really starts with the artist and the artistic team, and it starts with Bengt and his artistic vision and his creativity as a choreographer. A ballet like Anne of Green Gables really started with Bengt's vision for what that ballet could be.
I just loved him from the minute I met him. And then we had lots of meetings on the phone, and I just think he's true blue. He's like the salt of the earth. He's trying to do the right thing and do a good job.
Think of a great Canadian story, well, Anne of Green Gables is probably right up there as one of the, if not the most Canadian story. What other story should we do next? There's no other story that's more suited for us that reflects communities that we work in and that we're proud to share with all of Canada and beyond. So it was a natural choice, and the real question was, why haven't anyone done this already? A full-length ballet of Anne of Green Gables, and so here we are.
The partnership between Canada's Ballet Jörgen and George Brown is our most important partnership. It's been around 27 or 28 years now, and Bengt started teaching in the George Brown dance program years ago and was brought on as the artistic director of the program. We've moved in here with our office space. The company has access to the studios, also having access to young dancers seeking a career in dance.
Ballet Jörgen is famous for doing the grand ballets, executing them with great honesty, charm, and expertise, dance excellence.
Ballet Jörgen's been doing this for over 25 years, bringing performing arts, bringing ballet to communities that would never, ever otherwise have access to that kind of art form.
This is new ground for Ballet Jörgen, but it's a path they know.
Ballet Jörgen 100% creates new work. So that means that everything that we do has ultimately not been done before, except by us.
This is the first time that a full-length ballet based on Anne of Green Gables has been created. So there's been a lot of excitement and interest around that.
The book is so strong. Just changing the medium or expression to a dancing, in my mind, I hope, is going to be more direct and profound.
Ballet Jörgen is the logical one to do this production.
My name is Cruddas. I started dancing when I was 3 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I had been in a kinder music class where all of the moms and kids would sit in a circle and clap along to a rhythm, and I would not sit still and clap. I just got up and spun the whole time. I was about 10 years old when I saw Ballet Jörgen perform for the first time, and I thought, this is something that I'd like to do. That one time when I was 10, when I watched Ballet Jörgen, I was also doing a solo, and that was kind of the first time that Bengt saw me. When they came to town to do Anastasia, it was the world premiere, and I got to be a local dancer. I had an interaction with one of the company dancers, and I got to observe all of the company in their natural habitat. It was then that I knew that this company in particular was exactly where I wanted to be. This is my first time as a kind of first cast lead role, and the first time that I've had a lead role created with me in the room.
Anne is such a strong character. If I can figure out how to just slide into who she should be, I think she'll carry it, and it won't be me, it'll be her. There are so many moments in the book that I can glean from, and Bengt, I know, will have wonderful choreography, so it'll be a really exciting, slightly terrifying experience.
Okay, so just into the nature ballet. We're just going to work the transition. Okay, you ready? Good, thank you. We're going to pause. Okay, good. Little calmer sprites, but that's a good look. I like it. Yeah, it's alive. Now, what are you doing when you wake up?
I see the beautiful tree come to life.
And I would expect nothing less from Anne Shirley than what I just got. So it's all good. All right, perfect.
Hannah loves Anne just from the core of her soul and just wants her to be true.
I love Hannah's expressions. She also sort of embodied the character like no other.
I have always loved Anne. I think I read the first book when I was 8, and I read all 8 of the books. I've always felt a true connection with her. I've really admired her strength and her bravery and her beautiful bubbly energy, her imagination, all of these things that are quintessentially Anne. Now getting a chance to work on that in the studio and try to figure out the best ways possible to bring that essence of Anne through dance.
I think every dancer, their personality is reflected in their dancing. When I read Anne, I see Anne being danced by Hannah May. So we're going to see how close we get to everybody's idea of who Anne really is.
Why am I sitting in the center?
Because you are the center.
You are the center.
You know how uncomfortable that makes me feel when people make me the center of attention?
It seems to me that you would naturally root Anne's dance in her experience of nature, which was something that we've been building vocabulary for all the way through. So you could start off with a couple of nature people with her, or handmaids, or anything. But it doesn't mean you have to start in an abstract place.
No, I'm just thinking because she recites in the book, and it's always very beautiful.
She transports.
She transports people. Yes.
Process. Very difficult. Because the main challenge for us, being a ballet production, i.e. not relying on people's voices through singing, through speaking, and only using body language and gestures and mime to a certain degree. The book as it is written, the basis is Anne's wonderful, precocious flow of words. She uses words which, for a kid of her age, she's an encyclopedia almost. And her fantasy just goes rampant. You push a button and she goes and imagines the most heavenly place on earth. That was the difficulty in using the novel and translating it into movement. But I like the idea of connecting with nature, and they don't have to be part of the dance.
Yeah.
Even if they're just there as a flower and she can, refer to it or whatever, and then continue her.
Actually, we could have her classmates be the tableau. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. That works. Now, this little step here doesn't look good for the ladies. Maybe if we go could it be développé at? Or is it better that we soutenu and we bring it could it be back? Like when would we switch over? What feels, or just do it like a turn then? Okay, let's pick a turn. You stay back. Don't open it until we step out it with the step. Can we try that? Because the line just isn't sharp. We drop down on 7, or we step tombi on 7? 6. Okay, so what does that mean? We pique on 3 or 4? Oh my God, I'm totally off. 5 and... What are you thinking about Gilbert's dress right here?
To make somebody look older specifically, we put them in long pants. We're seeing like Norfolk jackets and things for the first time. And whether really that's the restricted, again, I don't want to have a dancing group of students all in jackets. So
it's almost like they take their jackets off.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Meaning they lighten up.
It's letting steam out.
Yeah. The process of adapting a novel into a ballet is to bring something from a reference point to life and to find shapes and rhythms and how to turn something into a three-dimensional living world.
Maybe 40 costumes, yeah, for this ballet, you need?
100.
100?
Oh.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In a lot of ways, my own tastes run to a kind of less is more sensibility. I'm not one to start really flinging around the bling unless I really feel the story is calling for it and the moment needs it. I'm at the preliminary design stage, and so what I have here are tools that we use to figure out things along the way. Here are very small little thumbnail sketches. These are thoughts for props and puppetry. And this workbook, is full of very simple sketches and rough notes about what people might look like in a given scene, or a couple of them just in pencil, but there's Anne herself. And these are the things that would go out and be given to the costume shop and presented on the first day of rehearsal, so that people would build and things would grow from there.
Bringing characters to life with dance and with music is almost easy because it's the emotions. The characters have to be true, and the arc of the characters have to work. Character artist is usually something you get into later in your career. It's a dancing role because you're part of a ballet. It doesn't have the sort of prowess of physicality when it comes to, high legs, lots of turns, big jumps, flipping, but it has very important narrative work with characterization within the context of the story that you're telling.
I became a dancer when I was 7 years old. This would be my 12th, 13th season. I have been learning the role of Matthew Cuthbert. He's awfully shy, not very good with expressing true feelings, and I find that quite similar and parallel to myself. I find myself very expressive through dancing, but not with the words. So that is very similar to what I find with Matthew, and how he is and how I am is very close in that sense.
If you look at it from, you're not trying to take the words and put them on stage. You're trying to take the emotions and the characters and the feeling. You have to bring it to life.
She walks back to the table, she sits down, and I'm here for you.
I think you're missing something still.
Okay,
Yeah.
we agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I feel it's too abrupt, but I don't have the right answer for it.
It's a breath.
So I'm
It's not a scene, it's a breath.
Yeah.
I am the stage director. Anything that is not dance, I take care of. In other words, I succeed in turning dancers into actors. The story requires a lot of acting scenes and dramatic moments. Moment, he says, and I want some people to not in sync. Oh, ice cream! Others just go, yay! Whatever. Okay? Whistle! That's it. Yeah, exactly. The dancers, they were inspired by the story and brought new ideas to it, how to do it. Things like that came out of rehearsal.
That was better than on Friday. Do you know when the trip has to happen or when you step in?
And don't push it, just if you step in and put your foot out, you can go in front of your foot. You can just In this case, we're very lucky. Our company is very young. They are like sponges. They take in anything you suggest and they do it, and they take risks, and it's a joy.
I think we need a long microwave.
Well, yeah, we do. We should get another.
And another fridge.
Yeah. But more importantly, I think we need another fridge.
You're joking.
It's the priority right now. I would never
fridge,
joke about this.
on top of that one would be a cooker.
I'm originally from Brazil. I started dancing there with a teacher called Enaje. She was the one that pushed me to become a professional ballet dancer. I got a scholarship to a school in Vancouver. I auditioned for the company, and I've been with the company for 10 years now. Ballet Jörgen is, I would say, a company filled with odd people. Odd and real people, really, because everybody's different, everybody got their own personality, and because of that, we're able to bring a sense of realness to everything we do. We can play many different characters, and it brings real life into the stories that we tell.
Not only are they diverse and talented, but they're brave and gutsy and resourceful. All dancers are disciplined, but these dancers are in a different class altogether.
I am from Stockholm, Sweden.
São Luís do Maranhão, Brazil. Colorado.
New York.
England.
Vancouver.
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Japan.
Stouffville, Ontario.
From Brazil.
Nova Scotia.
Having to socialize with all these different mix of people in one class just helps you grow as a person.
I find people here, we're more like a family than colleagues, and we help each other a lot, so I feel very, very supported in the environment. We make our home. We don't have this place really, but we have each other, and it doesn't matter where we are, we make it work. It's different from other companies.
I have never felt this safe in a dance space or this cared about. They just take me in and they're all my friends.
It's just a really, really nice environment. I love dancing during rehearsals and class too. It's always so much fun. And the choreography is absolutely amazing.
You're responding to her, right? She's like, brr, and she's already done it, and you do, yeah, brr.
Bengt is really hands-on. He's always up out of his chair, he's acting. He'll let you know exactly what he wants and what he wants it to look like.
It's a lot of give and take. So he will say, okay, do something like this or be like this. And we take it from there to create the movement itself.
Bengt is very good at bringing that dynamic alive between people and their interactions.
And then maybe if we could have like, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Shall we do bump, 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 bump again?
He'll show us a couple of things, or he'll ask us to do a move like this.
Stay down. Yeah, I think the thing is, we gotta see you really checking out every, yeah. It's like a piece of, like property, it's property, yeah. Yeah, just too fast. You have to see, like, I don't want to spend money on this thing.
Sometimes it can be challenging because you're not 100% sure what he wants. You really learn to sort of just play with it, and then sometimes through just playing, it ends up being exactly what he wants to see. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of sort of back and forth with the choreographer and the dancers.
Shake it so, like, you know, if it was today, the police would come and get you for, like, you just wanted to stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it and look at the baby, and before you like look at the baby, can't take it. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you go.
He's a mentor with the most sort of hands-off that you can have, yet still be a mentor.
He wears so many hats. He refuses to let the fundraising and the business obligations and the organizational obligations inhibit him too much in the studio and in the choreographic work. And then there is the pure dance. Of course, he's a dancer.
I was born in Stockholm, Sweden, a long, long time ago. In different place, different time. Society was very regulated and a little gray. I think most people today would go, why? Why couldn't you do this and why couldn't you? Well, the government decided it wasn't good for us. For me, I didn't have that because I lived in this imaginary world of the arts. So I could live in a parallel universe and have a lot of freedoms that other children didn't have, really. I grew up within the Royal Opera House, so I got to engage with so many artists, so many great artists. I did my first professional dance show as a child in Petrushka, and I don't think I've ever looked back. I was supposed to join the Royal Swedish Ballet, but I did have a burning desire to explore the world of dance beyond the borders of Sweden. And the decision I had to leave was, I was doing 2 shows of Coppelia, and I would have been an apprentice at that time, and I loved it. It was in Stockholm, Sweden in winter. It was wonderful. I loved the music. I loved being on stage. I looked out in the audience and I realized that there were more people on stage than in the house. And I thought, I don't want to be in a place where what we do doesn't matter. I had to go to North America and find out what it would be like to work in a place where if people didn't show up, there would be no pay, there would be no job, and that you had to be relevant to the people that actually came to see you. Whichever way it is, we just have to make sure we don't end with where it feels kind of like, you know, we want to make sure it really wraps up the story, but it's growth in her.
We agreed that we finish this session.
I think we have got the synopsis worked out.
No, very
now
good,
we have
Heiner,
to build a little bit more
there's still a lot
context, texture into it, but that's really what we're talking about.
Well, the main job will now be working with Sasha, and for him to come up to support all of that.
Yeah.
My name is Alexander Levkovich. I am classical music composer. I just make orchestration. I just using the theme and make variations, these themes, and because it's not my music, it's music Campbell. It's music from musical, but ballet is another genre, absolutely another different genre. In musical we have information from the singers, give us action, yeah? But here is action by moving.
To make the music the best it needs to be doesn't mean it's necessarily made for dance or for the choreography that we've already made. And so it's a little bit of a reevaluation, like, oh, okay, now we're doing everything slower in order to fit it into the music now that we have, or the music is all the same, but it's been stretched out and now it's this slow, beautiful section. So it's a bit like, okay, we're just gonna reinterpret this and get a little bit more flowery on top, and you don't really know until you're in it and you're testing everything out. You're like, oh yeah, it sounds great, and then you start dancing and you're like, oh, it's very different than what I thought it was gonna be.
Music itself should express what is going on. Music needs to be danceable. The change is not music, just time of music. Make shorter, make or tempo, more fast.
Thank you. It feels all right. But if you feel like, if anybody feels like this is the time, I'm using you because you're the only ones moving inside it. So we have 2.5 more minutes. Is that enough time to nail it?
Designing and stretch the music you have for the tutu ballet right now. It's already right now, the Queen's Stocking has kind of disappeared.
True. Hey, Sasha. Would you be able to add a minute to the Blossom Ballet? Yeah. Wherever. Just the actual, like anywhere in the Blossom Ballet, 1 minute.
Okay.
Do that.
Okay.
And can you say...
Last time, guys.
Yeah.
Because, no.
Yeah.
No, really.
Yeah. But
no time for score, yeah?
But here...
For parts, for printing.
If you can add 1 minute, but keep this version, and send me the new version so I can listen to it. That's it though, Sasha. We have no other music notes.
Yeah?
You're good to go.
Okay.
Great score.
Ivan kill me, you know.
I know, that's okay. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Ivan, it's okay. I know Ivan. It's okay. Yeah, Vanya will be fine. Tell him to kill me. Yeah, send him my way.
Okay.
Yeah. He'll know. Just tell him those impossible choreographers.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Great score. Yeah. Oh, if there's good mail, I want it. Otherwise, you can throw it in the garbage.
It looks like it's from the foundation.
See if there's any money in here. See if we have dancers. We can pay our dancers. I'm happy when somebody just responds.
An answer is nice. I've been trying to see if we have a letter opener, and I haven't found one
We
yet.
used to have one.
Must be here somewhere. I just haven't found it.
It's so nice. Somebody sent us $300. It's terrific.
Money.
Great. Without money, we can't do anything. Our guardian angels.
The big thing for creating a new ballet is the funding. It's getting out there and finding people that believe in what you're doing and support this new ballet. Not for any gain real gain they're gonna get in return. They're not gonna see their money back, but hopefully they'll see something on stage that they're proud of supporting.
Financial risk is always there. Every year I look at the budget around August and I go, how the heck are we going to get through the year without going bankrupt? And every year I have no idea how we're going to do it, and the process is brutal.
When we were fundraising for this ballet, it was all private funding, so it was all individuals, it was all corporate donors, all foundations. There's limited access for creating a new ballet, there is limited access to government funding. So we basically raised $700,000 through private funding to create this ballet.
Clearly, most of the programming for us is developed with earned revenue and private donations. I wish it was easier. I wish more people gave us money to help us do what we do, but I also recognize it's something you have to earn. We're trying to finally sort of have 52-week contracts for our dancers after 32 years, but it's still depending upon, a grant gets cut and all of a sudden that's all gone. Ticket sales go up and down. You live in a real world that is very unstable for resources, but fundamentally for dance companies like ours, what's the biggest challenge is just to make sure we have the money to pay our dancers. It is a challenge for sure, but we're still here, we're still doing great work, and we're still making a difference, and we're still reaching a lot of people.
Good to see you, my man. Good. Hi. Well, every year we do an early season get-together for the company, for everyone just to relax. It's not a fundraiser. It's all about letting the dancers and all the other support staff get together and mingle and have fun.
It's so nice, actually. Everyone's having a wonderful time. It's so sunny, and it's a really good chance for us all to get to know one another. Some of us are new this year. We still have to do all the choreography. So yeah, it is building, that's for sure. So having this nice, sunny, warm day with really yummy food and super sweet people to host us, it's so essential.
We're coming into the very end of the creative period. I have 1.5 weeks before we go into production week. My goal is to basically have everything mapped out in the next week and a half. And we still have a few scenes to do, but we're moving really fast.
It's getting crazier now at the studios. There's so much to do. There's so many tweaks that needs to be done with the costumes and sets and props. 1,000 props. So many props. So many
Oh, snowballs, books, lots of stuff. We wanted pieces that moved quickly and where it would take just a gesture to suggest a specific location. And the inner window frame can be cream. And that. Okay, so green, this cream, and again, you want benches and a blackboard for the schoolhouse and chairs and a cupboard and a kitchen table for Green Gables. Those were going to serve us very well.
And again, this one is meant to stay with it so you don't lose it on stage. There's an entire scene where Anne's imagination takes off, and it happens when they're out playing and collecting bugs. Made them fake beanbag snowballs so that they can throw them at each other, so they're nice and soft. And if they hit the floor, they won't roll away. The slingshot itself has to be pointing down and the elastic pointing up.
I'm working on a breakaway slate board for Anne of Green Gables. That's used as a gag on stage. It gets smashed over someone's head. So it's just a piece of gator board and it snaps apart with magnets. So it can be smashed over someone's head safely and then reset every night.
Slates. Is somebody going to get it?
She looks at you. Your glasses, though.
Yeah.
So cute. I love too how it's very visibly bare.
Yeah, no, this line is really very in a fitting. Some performers really are nervous. People don't like standing in front of full-length mirrors, but many use that as an opportunity to get a sort of glimpse, a look ahead at what the costume will give them and what they can become. We often ask in fittings if people would like to take a walk, to test some of their moves, and I want to see how the fabric moves. Victorian corsets and simple clothing and good sturdy fabrics that wear well are no friend to dance. So always looking for a compromise. And then of course when it's all out there and in motion, that's something that dance gives you to a greater degree. Opera, you're not going to get the same sense of the movement in space and the various aspects of the design that you will with dance. Dance is special that way. The process of imagining it all is great, but then to get it out of your head and see it in the dancers or see it in the other people's work, that's really satisfying.
If like two people are supposed to share a tutu, if we should both try on the same tutu.
But these are built by expert tutu builders, right? Anne Armid is building, she's the most experienced tutu builder right in the business. So the question is, if you don't think the tutus are built the right way, you need to address it.
So people are wondering if they can have all the people that share the same tutu and the same feeling to make sure, like, because the girls are actually like confused.
The girls will know by the end of today.
Right.
Yeah, they'll know. And if it doesn't work, you know what we're hoping, what we have worked out, if it doesn't work, we're going to go and pull out a girl and get it right, so that by the end of today, we know who's sharing everything,
okay,
and
great.
Bengt will know as well.
Like, do you want to move a bit?
Like, yeah, just some moves.
I mean, like the material is a little bit hard.
Do you feel tight here? It will soften. It's brand new, right? We did wash the under the coutil, so that's already broken in.
So it's well, the zipper's going to make it fast. They're worried about the zipper and the fitting, but if it fits, it's going to be so much faster than the hooks. What do you think? How long? Switch over into point shoes and into tutu. 90 seconds. Good. Yeah, that'll be about what we need.
Skin is all ripped up, and I have this weird thing here, and some floor burn. This toenail is like rotting.
The challenges of being a dancer is that you always have to make sure that your body is in good health and that your mind is in good health, really, because you spend the whole week 6 hours, 7 hours a day with somebody in front of the room telling that you're not doing it right. You're always trying to improve yourself, and sometimes that can get taxing and difficult to cope with.
There have been a few days where I have just felt kind of swallowed in frustration about something with the dance. There have been some Jonah days, as Anne likes to say.
There will be days where you maybe aren't performing as well as you know you can, so you might get inside your own head telling yourself all these negative things that you might be thinking at the time, and you just really have to stay positive or have a clearer mindset on the bigger picture rather than just the little here and nows. You really have to look forward to what you are working for.
There's always this sense that no matter how well you do, you will never come up to that imaginary perfection. So you're constantly chasing this sort of shadow that you can never catch because you move, it moves further along. The better you get, there's always another level. You're constantly striving to reach that place. The drive and perseverance, the stubbornness perhaps. You have to like it. Most of us love it, but sometimes you hate it too because it is so brutally demanding.
Not getting injured is always a big one because you never know when it could happen.
In this company, because of the size, there's an understanding that you're going to be learning a lot of different parts. If someone gets hurt, you need to take that responsibility to have the knowledge or at least an understanding of their part, just in case you need to step in.
I came here in my late 20s when my body was probably at the prime. So I could dance, without difficulties, with much more ease to do difficult jumps or difficult steps. But as the age goes, of course, my stamina will go away. My strength has been kind of decreasing. I used to do a lead role up until 2016. Then I decided to take on my new roles as a ballet master. Every now and then, it's always been sort of managing how much I can push, how flexible my bodies are, how effective my body can move too. I don't want to lose my skill set that I have been trained for a long time, so I have to be in shape. 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Balancing for me has been a very, very tough and challenging role for this last 2-3 years. Yeah, it's like I'm juggling the ball all of the time. And yeah, I feel like I'm dropping one ball somewhere all the time. Yeah, it's not a great feeling, but I am learning. So yeah, I cannot be perfect, but I can do my best.
Virtually every single dancer I know has had to overcome some challenges, major challenges. You have to fall in love with the entire process of becoming a dancer because it's not, if you just want to be there, get there, you will never actually get there because it's the process of getting there that is the hard work and it's relentless. It never stops.
I'm the chair of Canada's Ballet Jörgen, and it is a great pleasure to welcome you all here tonight to celebrate the bestowing of the Order of Canada on Bengt Jörgen, the founder, CEO, and artistic director of Ballet Jörgen.
Thank you. Thank you, Mara. I'm humbled by all of you coming, sharing this with me. I'm humbled by being appointed to the Order of Canada. This is more than I could ever have expected. When I came to Canada, I found a place that I could do what I wanted to do. Great people willing to accept me, and I thought I'd found heaven. And it's never stopped. I'm still in heaven. I get to meet people coast to coast. And in the early 90s, I was in in a shopping mall in a socioeconomically challenged area, I guess is what we would call it. And there was a lady with 2 little kids, and she was buying milk. And I could see she was in distress. So I go over and say, "Can I help you?" And she said, "The milk has gone up by 10 cents. She breaks down because she can't meet her budget for her kids. I realized that if we want to have an impact as artists, and if we want to connect with people, we have to remember that there are people out there that cannot afford the tickets. They can't even afford the bus fare. And they live all over this great country. So we focus on underserved communities. I'm very, very proud of the fact that the majority of the people we reach have never before seen a dance performance. And a majority live in households with under $35,000. And that's because we're committed to sharing what we do with as many people as we can, because we know that every time we do this, there's someone out there that will be impacted in a way that will change their life. Many of the dancers today in this company have previously come through these local communities and our local participant programs, and they've now grown up and become dancers with the company. And it's very rewarding for me to see that type of impact that we have. And the Order of Canada is a great honor, but I wouldn't have it if it wasn't for all of the people in this room. I just want to say thank you again.
Thank you, Ben. And I will say you clean up nicely. I usually don't see him much out of his sweats and the big puffy slippers he wears on his feet.
So we will run from the top. We will play the music. I want you to go as quickly as you can, but if we can't make the quick change in this time space, I just need someone to say, stop. There's no point in anyone getting hurt. So if you think there's a problem, stop is great. We stop, we fix it, and we move on. Are we ready to go? So confirming everybody's here, right? So Jennifer, we're good to go.
It's a little bit difficult to describe because not everybody knows how much time they need. We've never tried the costumes on before. We've never done the quick changes before. So we're all kind of scrambling, trying to time everything out while we're also trying to listen for the music and our cues and make sure we're not late.
The first scene, I gotta get on to Monday. And I left it to last precisely because everything we've done will inform how we do the first one. Yeah, so that scene is not done. We have Marilla and Matthew and Anne on stage, and we're just about to do the scene change. So are we good on the scene change? We're still missing a chair. What is the confusion? We need a table and a chair.
Music, costumes, sets, props. I mean, Anne is full of props, and prop handling is an important part of the choreography. So it's all challenging, and you have to work it out. And sometimes you'd rather work it out in a different order or in a different way, but you just have to work it out. You've got to be able to move forward.
My challenges are more on the stage. Like, I have all of those things to think about on stage, but the rest of the cast, they have so many costume changes. I don't know how they're doing it. Everything is so quick, and there are so many costumes in the ballet and so many different roles that they're all playing. So that's really, really tricky. That is one of the major challenges that people are feeling right now.
We've figured out that costumes add so much, but they also make the movement seem a little bit smaller. So we want to be able to have these beautiful costumes and the beautiful big movement, and with those costumes we have to just pile on extra energy and force into our movement so it doesn't get lost and swallowed in the fabric. We're able to get all of the cleaning bits done now. We have to really go back and change the things that aren't working on stage. Bengt and Heiner were able to see it from afar and they could see the whole picture. So now seeing all of that and knowing exactly what they need to fix, they're able to come into the studio and just speed through things now. It's really just cleaning and working and perfecting as much as possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Halifax. The local time is 1:20. Please remain seated.
We've worked hard over the past 10 years to really establish Halifax as sort of a second home for the company. Bengt saw a need in Halifax where there's no professional company, audiences that are hungry for ballet. And we have this great partnership with Symphony Nova Scotia where the dancers have an opportunity to perform the ballets with live music. And the fact that Anne is, it's an Atlantic Canada story, so we thought it was important for it to premiere out there.
What? Hi, you guys. Hello. Oh, I know. Hello. Oh my gosh. This is so cool. This Sarah and Yusuf. So crazy. You're coming? Yes, yes, yes. Saturday? You're coming too? Oh, I'm so glad you'll be there. Thank you. It's getting a little bit nerve-wracking, for sure. Yeah. Bye, guys. Hi. This is so funny. I'm well. How are you? I'm
great. This is my friend Jean Marie.
Hi.
On Saturday
Really?
night.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Anne of Green Gables.
Hello. So nice to meet you. Hi.
I work at Dance Nova
Oh my
Scotia.
gosh.
I can't wait to see you.
Oh gosh, so cool. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. I just ran into other people too.
I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing you. So you're a perfect Anne.
Thank you.
You're absolutely perfect. See you Saturday.
See you Saturday. Bye. So nice to meet you. I love this about Halifax. I see people I know all the time. never that many all at once. Like that's a big thing.
There's a miniature landscape of PEI all around from about knee height and down that gives you that lovely, wonderful patchwork quilt of fields and farms that is PEI, those rolling hills and those tidy, lovely towns and landscapes. And that kind of miniaturization and completeness to me was very, very expressive.
We're still working at practical problems that weren't core to the dramatics of the story, the choreography, but we have a lot of scene changes and every theater is different.
The stage is quite different from the one we had for our tech rehearsals. So we had to figure out how the set pieces work on that space and how the dancing works with the space that we had.
We actually hadn't been in a non-fly house up until that point where we had all the sets to try and work out those things.
It's good, but it's not good enough, guys. Way too much snow. You guys are going too fast and too flippant. Right? Where's the trail of snow? I don't get it. All right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's put everything out. Just dump a bunch of snow out here. You gotta get in sync with each other right now, because now you're not helping each other.
Even the snow, the winter scene, using the sprites to create it almost works better than having the traditional technique of the theater using flies to create snow and have all of that falling. It is beautiful, but in some ways it's almost funnier and more engaging, and we were just hoping it was going to work.
All right, so we got to do this with music, with a table, lots of snow on. We got to get there. Go, 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 go! Let's do it again. It's getting better.
That's like making some rice right now. So I take this on tour, and then you can make everything. Eggs and rice, and you can cook like meat. You can bake a cake in there too. Today we went from 10 to 9 and a little break during the afternoon. Tomorrow we start at 9 o'clock and finish at 9 o'clock again. And we only have one dinner break and one lunch break. That's it.
Long day.
Long day.
This is Jennifer's of Nova Scotia. They're amazing. They have local artisans and stuff producing lots of really cool gifts. And this is actually my friend. She makes these cards. I trained in ballet with her. I love these cards. They're so pretty. So I'm basically getting little gifts for people. It's kind of a tradition in ballet to get premiere gifts, or like opening night gifts, I guess. I feel like Daniel and Hiroto both microwave things all the time. And they're always like using their sleeves. This is kind of fun. Look guys, Anne books. This is so cool. It's just a scrapbook of all of Lucy Maud Montgomery's things. So nice to see what inspired her too. Yeah, I think so. I can't believe that. I remember a few months ago, I guess, my dad sent me the countdown. He was like, this many days, Anime, and now we're here. It's basically time.
We're going to do the entrance of the buggy again, the LPs. Chloe, you control that. You're early.
In the very first scene, when the buggy comes out, which of course we've made basically just of bodies out of sight, with the exception of just a sort of a horse head and a bit of the bench that Matthew and Anne sits on. In a sense, we show the very first different type of concept. I was very nervous, and we were just hoping it was going to work. We had done everything we could, all the orchestra rehearsals were done, we had the show coming up, and this was the first test to see if all the ideas and a sense of conviction I and my team had about how we were going to tell this story. Now the rubber hits the road when you put it in front of people. It was the first time we put it in front of a general audience, and I was very nervous to see what the reaction was going to be to the work, and I didn't expect myself to be that nervous, but I was.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Fountain, and Margaret and I and our daughter Gwyneth are delighted to be here with you today on this very special evening. We, as Nova Scotians, are especially pleased that the world premiere of Anne of Green Gables, the ballet, is taking place in Halifax tonight. Anne is truly an East Coast Canadian story. Now, I know you all think that Anne spent her whole life on Prince Edward Island, but I may remind you that Anne's story begins at an orphanage, what they called an asylum at the time, in Nova Scotia, and we're very happy to welcome her back. Very finally, I'd like to introduce a special guest. She is here in no official capacity, but only because she wanted to be here for this very special night to see the world's first show of Anne of Green Gables. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen Kane.
You probably wouldn't know that Bengt, Jörgen, and I danced together in the National Ballet of Canada a number of years ago. And Bengt had this wonderful idea to create a company that could go into every size city and provide brilliant ballet. And I support him so much in that, and I'm so excited for a world premiere on such a Canadian theme, such a famous Canadian story, something we all grew up with and we love very much. I know we are all in for a wonderful evening. Thank you.
What I usually try to do before any show is to be at that moment, just be in the moment. Try to stay as calm as possible.
I was really focused, trying to make sure everything was ready to go. It was just go time.
I want to make it happen. I want to bring it to life. I want to do what I've done in rehearsal. I trust what the people have given me to do, and I want to go out and do it. And I'm ready. Like, let's stop talking.
My grandmother, I believe, would have been so proud to know that her work has been adapted into a ballet.
The story of Anne of Green Gables, it's a reality to many of us. Somebody that's not very well accepted by others. She makes her way through other people's hearts, and then they found out that there's other ways to view the world. And I think that's why the story is so touching and so relatable.
It's about a young woman who is very, very strong, very independent, very imaginative, and very loving. And those are qualities that I feel that our community and our world really, really can relate to, and we really need to be able to embrace. It lasts, and it does so beautifully because of that imagination and that strength. With this ballet, we're just able to share all of that love in a different way.
Audience's reactions, where they were laughing and they were crying. That's a very empowering moment as an artist. When I can move some people on stage, I feel great about doing my job.
There is audiences out there that wants to see a nice performance, that wants to have a story being told to them, to feel the love, the sadness, the laughter, the excitement. Bringing that to people, that's what keeps driving us performers.
We want to have an impact in getting directly involved with people. We want people to be experiencing it. So let's do a main stage performance, let's move into a library and do something, let's work with young dancers, let's work with young people. Let's make sure that everybody has the opportunity. Audiences really appreciate that. I think we as humans want our history in what we do, but we also want to see ahead. Where that's going to go as the times progress, I think you have to stay true and you have to stay honest.
When I was young in Nova Scotia, hardly any dance came to my hometown. That was really difficult as someone who wanted to be a dancer, and I knew that I wanted to be a dancer. I know that there are so many other young people across Canada and in the States where dance just isn't celebrated. Ballet Jörgen going into these smaller communities and sharing our love of dance and showing that we have dancers from all across the world, from all walks of life, all shapes and sizes, all genders, and we are all sharing, and we need to be able to continue sharing that.
We go to every province. We deliver more dance program than anyone else across Canada. And we're only doing it because people like to see what we do. My greatest job is to try to convince people that we should have access to art outside of the major centers. and that it's important. It's important for everyone. I love teaching. I love seeing changes in students. I love helping students become better dancers. This is how we've always passed on our knowledge. It comes a point where as an older dancer, it's probably the greatest gift you can do for your own art form is to try to help other dancers that are going to come up and continue, because when we pass on, dance exists because other people before us taught me, and they were taught by someone who were passionate about it.
You can't replace the human contact of live performing arts, and ballet is part of that. People, I think, partially are so relieved and so pleased to be engaging in a live environment, in something that they understand, and something that they can laugh with us and they can cry with us. There's something part of that that makes ballet more relevant today than it maybe was before, and not just ballet, many performing arts, but ballet, we can speak to you immediately, and I love that.
When we do a story like Anne of Green Gables, people come because it's Anne of Green Gables. They don't necessarily come because it's a ballet, but they come, they get the story, and they're like, wow, this is ballet? Yeah, this is ballet.
Really exciting. I really enjoyed that it was humorous too. It was a fun experience. It was great. Yeah. She was born to do this. She was really born to do this.